You know how you get to the office in the morning and someone says to you,
"Hey, good morning, Klaus. How are you?"
And your mind replies with,
"Oh, I'm so tired. I can hardly keep my eyes open. My daughter kept me awake all night."
But instead you say,
"I'm fine. How are you?"
"I'm doing great."
It's just the culturally appropriate way to say hello. That's the same way that returning missionaries feel.
"How was your trip?"
They ask nonchalantly, and before we reply with,
"It was great,"
our mind starts with,
"Well, it wasn't a trip. It was my life."
Followed by,
"Do they want to hear about the time when I had to time my shower perfectly so that I could blow dry my hair while the power was on? Do they want to know about the time I had to rush home from work to get my laundry off the roof before it started raining? Do they want a funny story, like the time I was with 3 friends and we had our pants off but we were covered in leeches? Or do they want something serious, like when I tried to share the gospel in a foreign language? Do they even know how long I've been here? Or what I've been doing? Do they even have time?" I guess I'll just answer with, "It was great."
and then we walk away with so much unsaid. When I'm reconnecting with you after coming home, I'm not going to know if you're asking questions to make polite conversation or because you really want to know. I'd love to talk about my overseas experiences with you, but you have to make sure that I know that you really want to hear about it.
So one thing returning missionaries really want you to know is that we don't really care if you know where we've been, whether we've been in Italy, Mozambique, Nepal, India, Vietnam, wherever, and we really don't care if you don't have any clue about what's going on in those countries. We just want you to ask and know that whatever questions you have, we're happy to tell you about our lives in those other places which has become our homes.
But how do you relearn who I am without asking,
"How was your trip?"
Because trust me, asking that question is the fastest way to get a completely blank stare. It's just too broad, and I don't know how to answer it. So as I promised last week, here are some suggestions on how to relearn who I am. Actually, they're mostly suggestions from Gina Siliberto's blog on how to understand what people want to hear. So extremely practical and answerable question number 1.
What made you want to go there and do language survey?
That's a question I'm able to answer. Extremely practical and answerable question number 2.
I heard about this stereotype. Is it true?
Don't be afraid to ask questions about the culture I've been living in. Just remember to be as specific as possible. Example number 3.
Stephanie, what's the hardest adjustment you've had to make?
Acknowledging that I've been through hardships is encouraging, but be careful not to put me up on a pedestal. I'll talk more about that next week. The final question, and possibly the best question for a returning missionary ever.
So Stephanie, what is the most memorable experience while you were gone?
I could answer this question all day long and never answer with the same story twice. So there you have it, the condensed and to the point version of how to relearn who I am.